Welcome to the Albany Raw, ladies and gentlemen. I went to the laundromat today. I saw a lady seeing Raw on her smartphone and I got into a conversation with her. I was upset beyond reason because that woman had gone to the Albany Raw. Oh, I hate being injured. Even if I have cash to go, which I do. Travel is not something I can do. I cannot do long distance traveling. So it angers me that I can't really do the things I would love to do. I've never been to a Raw or SmackDown viewing. Never. And I would like to at least once go. Maybe one day I can if there's a situation where I can get there and it's not so difficult to be there. But taking away my frustration. Raw. This Raw was a continuation from Extreme Rules. It was. This was like an extension of it. So the opening of the show was actually quite nice. A battle royal for the U.S. Championship. Over the top rope. Dean Ambrose got his ass handed to him by 19 other guys. But I'm not saying he was bad while doing it. He looked very good while he was in the ring. Everyone did what they normally do. Kofi does what he does. Dolph does what he does. Everyone does what they do. But this was about making Dean Ambrose look solid enough, in my perspective, that he could finally get rid of that title. It's been like a noose around his neck for quite a long time, this title. He's done nothing with it. So, who won it? Sheamus won it. Now, does that mean Sheamus now has a noose around his neck? No. If they're going to do what I think they're going to do, they're going to do something that has been time tested, which is simple. Someone who's been at the top, keep them there for a while, and then bring them down to the bottom, and then let them work their way back up. Sheamus having a U.S. title may not be a bad thing. It actually could help him build his reputation back up because he has been such a mess. I don't know if the WWE is actually going to do that, but that's what I'm hoping for. Let him hold the title for a couple of months. Let him do something with some people. Let him get in some storylines. Let him get in some good matches. And then move him up to the IC Championship. Let him have a feud if it's still with Wade or someone else. Let it be a champion versus champion match eventually. Build something up. An Irishman versus an Englishman. Duh! It's something we don't get to see. Ethnicity actually going against each other. And you can't say that because that's how most British people think. Not all. But there is still kind of a divide. An Irishman versus an Englishman. It's there. Come on. I would love to see it. Now, the part that I felt was decently done was Triple H coming out afterward saying, oh, you guys are getting some problems here. You're getting a losing streak. Well, maybe I'll add on to that because now you have to face the Wyatts at the end of the night. That wasn't too bad. And since I'm talking about it now, Wyatts versus the Shield. Now, I gotta admit, the Wyatts have faced the Shield more than a few times, and I was actually worried that I was going to be bored with this. I really did. Because I've seen it a lot of times, but it was still a very good match. They all have very good chemistry. It was very high paced, very fast paced, very high flying at one point. The crowd was jizzing on themselves because I think they were thinking of ROH. Maybe. In the end, with a little help of Evolution, Bray Wyatt wins over a Roman Reigns. Yes, he does. And that really shows me the two people that are really being presented the most out of everyone that's involved in this situation is Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt gets the win and looks good and sounds good. Roman Reigns is the one that is the last person to be destroyed by Evolution. They focus on him. They show blood in his mouth, which they're going to have to pay about $20,000 or $30,000 for because that is not allowed by the FCC. But still, this is wonderful to see that the WWE, the brass, Triple H, Stephanie, and Vince himself sees that they need to start the future. And these guys are it. Now let's look at another guy for the future. Oh, I love Lana. I'm saying this. If there was no Naomi, and I still love my woman, I still love my Naomi, Lana is a very good contender. Coming out there with that ass shaking just right, with those long legs and those just right length heels, looking delicious and insulting the fuck out of every American, saying, "You stupid Americans, I honor and respect Vladimir Putin," and got the most heat you can see on a hot looking woman. Yes, she did. I love that. Alexander Rusev comes out and destroys Kofi Kingston. Kofi always does a good showing in the ring, and I will never take that away from him. But in this respect, he's helping younger talent, and I like that. He made him look very good. Now, I don't know who he's going after next. I personally don't care. As long as it's the right person that will help get Rusev over. Hell, I would love to see Rusev in a good feud. Right now, he's destroying people like a Ryback did. And that kind of frightens me. That does. I'm botching because I'm afraid that Rusev, who is getting a very good rise, will be dropped by the WWE like they did with Ryback. They will sacrifice someone up and coming for John Cena. They will. And that moves me on to what I think about... No, I'll leave that at the end of this review about John Cena and Bray Wyatt. I'm going to move on to that. I'll do it at the end of at the end of the review. I'm botching because I really don't want to think of it, but... Okay. The matches that were good, but I really believe are not done properly. Bray Wyatt and Biggie Langston. Now, you could say both matches these guys had at Extreme Rules and here was good. It was good. But the problem here was Biggie Langston not being built or promoted. Maybe he was built on Wednesday Night Main Event, Saturday Morning Slam, SmackDown. Not on Raw. I'm sorry. You may have 3 different versions of the main promotion, but the most important thing is on the main show. They didn't even have the respect to give Biggie Langston any backstage segments after the match was over and before this match. Yeah, it could have been on the WWE app. It could have been on WWE.com. It could be on Saturday morning, well, Saturday, on the Fallout, after Fallout, whatever. It makes no difference if it's not seen on Raw. And this is where I felt so empty with this situation. Biggie did a good showing. Bad News Barrett has been well promoted. But then it falls to the wayside because Bad News Barrett's opponent was not promoted. If you don't promote them both properly, it doesn't matter how good they go in the ring. It just loses something in the translation. Here's another one. RVD versus Cesaro. Now, I don't have a problem the way they promoted RVD. They did it with Paul Heyman having an offense by RVD saying he's a piece of crap. I don't have a problem with that. The problem is Paul Heyman himself and the position they're putting Cesaro. The match was great. Cesaro destroying RVD the way he did and getting disqualified was great. I don't have a problem with it. But the problem is that Paul Heyman, to me, is the problem. He's promoting Cesaro well. But because he still believes, and this might be also with the brass, that he has to continually get heat on himself, making the people angry by saying Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker's defeated streak at WrestleMania 30. Constantly still saying that. Beating a horse when it's down and dead has a backlash eventually. Right now, Cesaro's still getting some type of pops, and now he's getting some heat. But if he does this too long, and I'm talking about Paul Heyman, the problem I see is that Paulie is going to destroy whatever type of movement Cesaro is going to have. He goes too far with it, it's going to be over. Now, Los Matadores and El Tortillo, and that segment with 3MB on Cinco de Mayo, the Night of the Dead, I believe they call it. I don't know. I've never celebrated. I don't know anything about it. I just know that that's what it's called. But I'm going to give it to you like this. I'm not a Hornswoggle fan. I like El Tortillo. He's cool. Put these guys together, I'm interested in this feud. I don't know why. Past Extreme Rules, particularly they may not promote it very well. Maybe Payback, they'll do something else. I am not fond of Hornswoggle. But if they keep doing this on the show and leaving 3MB and Los Matadores as kind of like extras, I would not mind continuing this into Payback. If they bring back the same commentators, if they bring back the same ref, I will be fond of it. The only thing they last need is a good-looking honey to go with that. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, people of that height, little people, can look damn hot. I should know I dated one. I'm going to move on. Let's see here. Cody Rhodes and Ryback match. Now, I've been hoping Cody would finally explode on his brother and then they would have their feud. I don't believe they want to pull the trigger yet. Cody Rhodes lost again in a match. Ryback beat him. But the thing about this is, how far are they going to go dragging this out between Cody and Goldust? We know eventually they're going to have to feud. This is what Cody needs. He needs to break off from his brother. So does Goldust need to break off and do they need to do their own thing. So this is what I'm hoping for eventually. Maybe before SummerSlam to actually do it. Maybe they want to do it at one of the big 4 pay-per-views. That's what I'm hoping for. Tell me below what you believe. Do you believe they need to break apart, which I do believe, or should they stay together? Now, what do we got here? The Zed Coulter and Trucker segment with Alex. I'm botching because this was epic. Oh man, I didn't think it would be this good. Zed did a good job as usual. Jack Swagger's Jack Swagger, he sucks. But when Adam Rose came out with his entourage, and I hope they keep doing this for a while. Yes, eventually you got to stop it, but I hope for a couple of weeks to a couple of months they continue doing this with Adam Rose. Continue doing it with the Rosebuds. That was epic. I love that entrance. We don't see entrances like that often, where it is like that. I think of, The Godfather. I think of him. He had an entrance like that. I think of that type of interaction. Seeing all these people partying, him jumping back and then catching them was epic. And then him kicking the Jack Swagger ass and Zed running out of the ring was perfect. That's what I loved. That's what I'm glad that happened. Now, let's see here. Okay, time to get this done. Daniel Bryan and ADR. Now, I said in my review of Extreme Rules that ADR may go after the title next. And look what we get. ADR the next night is the one that's going after that title. It was a good match. ADR lost the match. But this wasn't even about ADR, which I think they made a big mistake. It would have been better for ADR to win that match. It would have been. You know why? Because the way they're promoting Kane is a double-edged sword that I think is about to reach its limit. Kane has been rammed down our throat as an evil monster again. And to me, because it was done in such a short amount of time, doesn't feel legitimate enough. Yes, he's being evil and destructive and all of that, but there wasn't enough time to really let it sink in. To me personally, Kane doesn't feel much more better than when he was corporate. The only difference is they let him have free range. Stephanie, who I've always said is the mastermind behind everything, is twisting this just wonderfully. I love how she's doing this. I love that she's the one that's doing this and trying to promote Kane and trying to make Daniel Bryan look vulnerable because of Brie is actually very good. And I believe that eventually Brie and Stephanie are going to have a match. I really believe sooner or later that is going to happen. It may not be for the Divas Championship, but it doesn't have to be. The COO's wife versus the wife of the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam may actually happen. That's what I'm thinking. Seeing Kane almost get run over was a bit interesting, but in the end, I really believe that it would have been better that Daniel Bryan, if this wasn't a title match, lost that match to ADR. That would have given more of a dynamic in the feud between him and Kane, dealing with Brie and Stephanie. But I believe that was a title match. If it was, which I don't know how they can even state that, there was nothing that was done. You guys tell me below if it was a title match or not. If it wasn't, they made a serious mistake not letting ADR win it. Finally, last thing I want to talk about in this review is when Bray Wyatt did his promo segment in the middle, I think near the middle of the show. It was very good. He was great, like he always has been. But as I said before, I am very afraid for him because they will sacrifice anyone for John Cena. They will. You guys know this. I believe that this feud, if the worst case scenario for this feud will be the breathe, not SummerSlam, but Survivor Series. They may drag this out all the way to Survivor Series. My hope, the earliest, will be Payback. The best case scenario, taking away my hope for Payback to end this, will be SummerSlam. One of the 4 big pay-per-views which I hope, where John Cena will allow Bray Wyatt to win clean. And then they break off afterward. Let John Cena do whatever he does after that. But I don't believe that's going to happen. I really believe they're going to drag this all the way to Survivor Series. And they're going to make Bray Wyatt, even though he's a great charismatic character, they're going to make him lose. And they're going to make him lose. They may let him win once in a while, but they'll still make him lose at an important pay-per-view that will destroy his character. You guys tell me below if I sound like I make any sense or not. But I'm truly hoping, if John Cena does a proper job for Bray Wyatt, I will not have a problem dragging all the way to Survivor Series. But I don't believe that's going to happen. So this is my review of Raw at Albany, New York. Please give me a comment below. Tell me how you feel about this Raw. Did it need something extra? I would have liked to see my Naomi there, who should be like with Tamina, fighting for the Divas Championship, but we don't get that. We take what we get. Peace up!